Hey everybody, it's Mike from Fishing the Mid-South, and today we're going to do another knot test. We're going to test with Suffolk's Superior 40-pound mono, and we are going to test the double surgeon's loop knot. So I've got a Trilene knot tied on this end, and if this end fails, it's not really a valid test because I'm not testing that knot. So what we do is we go down a little way, double our line over. We basically do just an overhand knot, just a basic overhand knot, but using doubled over line, and then we run it through the center twice. And that gives us the surgeon's loop. Kind of close it up some, then moisten the line, and then pull it tight. So the way this rig works is you'll have a swivel up top, you'll have a dropper loop. The tag end comes down and you'll have another dropper loop, typically, and then below that will be a sinker. But because we only care about testing the dropper loop itself, we're cutting the rig short. So we're just testing the strength of the dropper loop. And we're attaching the circle hook with just a hitch knot, which you double the line, you create a little loop, or double the loop over so that it goes through, and then you just push the hook through it. That's a silicone bead that's on the end. It's there to protect the knot, or not, to protect the point, so that if it decides that it wants to shoot across the room at me, hopefully it'll do less damage to me. And then the rubber band there is to hopefully, with all this under tension as it springs back from the failure, hopefully will not launch the hook nearly as far. So with that being said, we will begin the test. And again, there's nothing protecting the eye here, or the line. So this is a completely different hook. But the way the hook is made, you get the solid piece of wire and then it comes around and kind of runs into itself. Well, that can create a sharp edge there. And the way this hitch connection works is one of the sides is right there. So I do expect some failures there. I'm interested in seeing what the strength of this is going to be. So here we go with pull number one. Okay, we have a break, and we have it at 24.4 pounds. So this is the Trilene end of things, so everything's fine there with the Trilene knot. And let's see where we failed. So very oddly here, at least it looks odd, we'll find out in a second. The rubber band off of there. Okay, so the failure, so this is the tag end here that would go down to the other line. So this actually failed at the beginning of this double surgeon's loop, and you can see it comes right apart. So that's where the failure point was on that one. $24.4 is not good. The reason that I'm testing the double surgeon's loop is because I've already tested, and you'll see that in the playlist for knot strength tests, the dropper loop, and the performance was bad. You can watch those videos and find out how bad, but I am not happy with those results. So I'm trying to find another knot that works in a similar fashion for the same type of rig, right? And this is actually a bad result in the little bit of testing I've done so far. So we'll go with pull number two and see what occurs. $33.4, and I am happy to say that the failure on this one was at the Trilene knot. That's what broke. Now, again, we're not testing the Trilene knot, but we know that this rig stood up to 33.4 pounds without breaking on the end that we're actually testing. So while we may not have gotten the full test out of that, we do at least know that it didn't fail before 33.4 pounds, which is still 9 pounds better than the first knot that actually did fail. at the double surgeon's loop. So we'll get test number 3 loaded up here. I hope I have enough length on the puller for this, but we'll find out. Here's test number 3. I'm going to run out of room. I did not run out of room, but the Trilene knot is what broke again at 29.4. So while we are not getting the knot that we're testing to be the one that fails, that actually is a good thing. And I can tell you that just these results so far have beaten the double dropper loop, or the dropper knot, I should say. And that's even without, factoring in what side of things failed. So aside from the first test where the double surgeon's loop actually failed, the other 2 tests have not been horrible. They're also not good in the fact that that's not what we're trying to test. But anyway, we're at least getting results that show that this knot is not horrible. Nice. Okay, so the swivel went flying. 41.1 pounds. And again, this is 40-pound mono. And it failed. So again, there's your tag end, right? It failed at the double surgeon's loop, but it still, the surgeon's loop itself did not disintegrate, and even when I pulled on it, it did not just fall apart. So I'm happy with the result, even if it's, the other results have not been as useful as I'd like. And I show you all the results because I think it's important that way, right? I don't want to pick and choose. And that may be a good reason why my Trilene knots are failing. I may not have a good enough pull on them. Let's see if we can get this one to this Trilene knot to survive. 41.1. We'll start with test number 5, see where this goes. So I did watch the Trilene knot cinch down. This actually broke where I was thinking we would have some failures. And that is, this piece basically cut the line. So the loop, the double surgeon's loop itself, that knot is intact. This is the hitch knot that failed. So 35.0. If you watch my next video, we're going to actually do the same general test. Unfortunately, I tied the next batch short, so they're going to have clinch knots, which is not a great knot. But we have shrink wrap across the eye. Let me see if I can grab one of the hooks so I can show you. So I put a little shrink wrap there to avoid the hitch knot being a failure point. So that'll be in the next video. Again, to recap this one, 24.4, and that was a break of the double surgeon's loop. The 33.4 and the 29.4, both of those were a failure of the Trilene knot. The 41.1 was a failure of the surgeon's loop. And the 5th one at 35.0 was a failure of the hitch knot itself. So like I said, I've got a playlist on how to tie the knots on my channel. I also have a playlist of the knot strength videos. Please like, subscribe, and all that fun stuff. And we will see you on the next video. Thanks for watching.